All right. It's your girl, Indira Michelle, here with another Revelation Revealed lesson. We are moving right along. We only have one more church letter after this to be finished with the 7 church letters. So today we are going to talk about Christ's letter to the Church of Philadelphia. That's what we're covering today in lesson 8. So let's dive in. So our scripture for today is Revelation 3, verses 7 through 13 in the CSB version of the Bible, and it reads, "Write to the angel of the church in Philadelphia. Thus says the Holy One, the true one, the one who has the key of David, who opens and no one will close, and who closes and no one opens. I know your works. Look, I have placed before you an open door that no one can close, because you have but little power, yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. Note this, I will make those from the synagogue of Satan who claim to be Jews and are not, but are lying. I will make them come and bow down at your feet, and they will know that I have loved you. Because you have kept my command to endure, I will also keep you from the hour of testing that is going to come on the whole world to test those who live on earth. I am coming soon. Hold on to what you have so that no one takes your crown. To the one who conquers, I will make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he will never go out again. I will write on him the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, the New Jerusalem, which comes down out of heaven from my God, and my new name. Let anyone who has ears to hear listen to what the Spirit says to the churches." Woo, it's power packed, friends. Okay, so the Church of Philadelphia. So this is considered to be the church Christ loved. Their church period is from AD 1750. It is still going on all the way up until the rapture. So the Church of Philadelphia was located in the center of Greek civilization, and they actually had a very surprising influence and remained an independent Christian city until the close of the 14th century. After that, they were conquered by the Turks. So the word Philadelphia means brotherly love. And so unlike the dead church of Sardis that we talked about, this church was marked by its vitality. During this time period and still going on, this was a time of revival, a lot of missionary travel all over the world, the printing of the Bible into other languages, a large emphasis on the return of Christ. These are all some of the main reasons why there was a desire to share the good news everywhere possible. They were starting to really have the tools and resources that they needed. So in terms of, with every reading, we always talk about Christ's characteristics, his commendation, condemnation, his challenge, and his counsel. So with the Christ characteristics for this church, he says, "Thus says the Holy One, the true one, the one who has the key of David, who opens and no one will close, and who closes and no one opens." So 4 aspects of his character are revealed here. Number 1, holy. He reminds the church of his holiness. In 1 Peter 1:16, he asks us to be holy because he is holy. Number 2 aspect, truth, right? He is the true bread. Jesus said to them, "Very, very truly, I tell you, it is not Moses who has given you the bread from heaven, but it is my Father who gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is the bread that comes down from heaven and gives life to the world." "Sir," they said, "always give us this bread." Then Jesus declared, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never go hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty." Okay, so that's aspect of character number 2. And number 3, it talks about he holds the key of David. So keys are a symbol of authority and ownership. So in Isaiah 22:22, it reads, "I will place the key of the house of David on his shoulder." So that's a prophecy, right? And he's saying that he has it. What he opens, no one can close, and what he closes, no one can open. So Jesus is actually repeating the scripture back and saying that, he is the fulfillment of it. In Isaiah 9:7, it says, of the increase of his government and of peace, there will be no end on the throne of David and over his kingdom, to establish it and to uphold it with justice and with righteousness from this time forth and forevermore. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will do this, right? So it's basically discussing that he basically rules David's kingdom. It is, his kingdom, and that he has all authority and all ownership. And the fourth characteristic of Christ that he talks about is, what he opens, no one can shut, and what he shuts, no one can open. Amen. Okay. And this is good news. And the reason for this is found in Matthew 28:18. It reads, Jesus came near and said to them, let's repeat, all authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. All authority, right? So I know a lot of times we like to talk about how the world is the devil's kingdom and he's the lowercase g God of this world, blah, blah, blah. But Jesus is telling you all authority has been given to him in heaven and on earth. So it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Okay. Now, in terms of the commendation, he says to them, I know your works. Look, I have placed before you an open door that no one can close, because you have but little power. Yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. So this church had an open door of opportunity for the proclamation of the gospel due to the reasons I previously mentioned. Their little strength was because, he's not critiquing them for being little. Their little strength was because they were considered a small congregation. And so this interesting to note that in our time, we consider small congregations, our standards, we consider a small church congregation to be weak. Obviously, God does not. He's more looking at that no matter the size, they kept his word and did not deny his name. So when we are weak, God is strong, because in spite of this, not only, even though they were but a little group, not only did they believe the word, but they kept it. They refused to deny the name of the Lord and exchange it for a lie. And that's, all that really mattered to him. It didn't matter that they would be a large or a small congregation. So that's something definitely for us, nowadays to take note. He also continues on with his commendation saying, note this, I will make those from the synagogue of Satan who claim to be Jews and are not, but are lying. I will make them come and bow down at your feet, and they will know that I have loved you, because you have kept my command to endure. I will also keep you from the hour of testing that is going to come on the whole world to test those who live on earth. So for the commendable church or the commendable Christian, he's promising two things. Number one, he's promising to vindicate you. When he says, I will make those from the synagogue of Satan who claim to be Jews and are not, but are lying. I will make them come and bow down at your feet, and they will know that I have loved you. So, the commendable church / Christian will be vindicated. Number two, preservation. They are promised preservation. Because you have kept my command to endure, I will also keep you from the hour of testing that is going to come on the whole world to test those who live on the earth. So the bottom line is that membership has its privileges. I don't remember which credit card has that as their slogan. I think it's Amex, but it applies to Christianity too. Like, membership has its privileges, right? You will be vindicated and you will be preserved. Now, the other thing to take notice of, although I am sure, that this church was not perfect, and I know that it wasn't, because it had human beings in it, right? And all of us fall short. One thing, this is the only church where there's no condemnation out for them. Out of all the seven, Christ doesn't condemn them for anything at all. And so this is important for us to see, what is the difference? Obviously, they weren't perfect. Obviously, they made mistakes. And we know this because human beings were in it. But there was no condemnation because they kept the word. They did not deny his name. And, they didn't allow for their zeal to be polluted. And at the end of the day, that's what, Christ is looking for. Like that's what's important to him. So there's a lot of us who are doing a lot of things. And sometimes, the devil will try to make us feel guilt, which guilt is not of God. Conviction is of God, but guilt is not. And, we'll feel like we can't do certain things or whatever. But at the end of the day, like Christ is looking at, have you denied his name? Have you, exchanged the truth of what you know about him for a lie? That's what matters at the end of the day. Okay, so then his counsel to them, he says, I am coming soon. Hold on to what you have so that no one takes your crown. So what this tells me, and what it should tell you, is that although our eternal destination can't be lost, right? No one can remove you from the hands of God. Eternal rewards most certainly can, because he's telling them, hold on to what you have so that no one takes your crown. So that's telling us that although our eternal destination can't be lost, eternal rewards most certainly can be. It is also interesting to note that the challenge is made on the basis that the Church of Philadelphia will be in existence at his coming, right? So that's how we know, like, this is still in effect today. Also, we can see that this church is characterized by a spirit of revival. And whenever a church or a believer has a spirit of revival, they're going to be very interested in evangelism, and they're going to be very missionary minded. So churches or ministries that follow this formula will always enjoy unprecedented growth. So sorry to say, for some of you, the rise of the mega church is here to stay, right? Many of them have gotten here because they have, as much as people criticize many mega churches and large ministries and stuff, the reason why a lot of them are in place is because they have life and vitality, that other churches and ministries lack. That's the bottom line. And, there are also, we can't be fooled by like vanity metrics, because there are also, churches out there that are losing more members than they take in. And usually that's because they haven't kept his word, or they've denied his name, usually when you pull back at the root. And so the other thing that we can notice right now is that there is a heavy focus, like very heavy focus on prophecy and prophetic events. Like, it's considered right now to be really cool to be a prophet. That's, you never hear anyone, when we talk about like the fivefold ministries, like no one's excited to be an apostle, but not that there's anything wrong with any of the jobs, but the most exciting one, the one that's the most popular is prophecy and prophetic events. And so you can tell this too, just by like the secular popularity of prophetic stuff. Look at the Left Behind series that came out however many years ago, was even on the like New York Times bestseller list for a very long time. Other prophetic novels, it just shows us that there is a heavy focus on prophecy and prophetic events. People are actually searching for answers and trying to like wrap their head around what is coming in the future, right? If that becomes perverted, I guess you could say, it can turn into why people are interested in using tools to predict the future that would replace God in their life, because human beings, we have just a general tendency to want to know what's coming next. So people are always going to be searching for answers, but it's always a thing where you place it, in front of your relationship with God. And if you are in deep relationship with him, then you should be able to ask him about certain things. And even if you are using tools or whatever the case may be, like it should be like a confirmation of what he told you, and not you using it to usurp his place in your life. So there's that. Get off my soapbox about that. In terms of the challenge he gives them, he says, the one who conquers, I will make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he will never go out again. I will write on him the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, the new Jerusalem, which comes down out of heaven from my God, and my new name. So there are three things that are promised to those who are overcomers. So number one, when he says, the one who conquers, I will make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he will never go out again. Pillars symbolize stability, right? And so the overcomers are promised stability because in this life, to be honest, you take up the cross of being someone who's like openly spiritual, you are going to experience a lot of buffers, a lot of bumps, a lot of hills, a lot of valleys. It's not a smooth ride. So if anybody's telling you that, they lying, y'all. Because it's not. And sometimes you're also made to feel like you're weird, or you're made to feel like you're an outsider. So stability is something that, Christians are going to, seek, right? Stability is going to be something that, we seek. So we're being promised that we will receive it. The other two things, when he talks about, I will write on him the name of my God and the name of my city. I will write on him the name of my God and the name of the city of my God. So the new Jerusalem, which comes down out of heaven from my God. So true believers will be identified with Christ by the seal of the name of God, which entitles them to have an entrance into the city of God, is what that's telling us. Christ promises to prepare a new Jerusalem that will come down to the new earth, and we'll discuss that in further chapters. We'll get to that later. But this also, what you can see is that this also tells me that tattoos are a spiritual act, right? Saying I will write on him the name of my God, and it should be considered very well before getting them. I'm not here to judge anyone who has tattoos or tell you not to get them. I got some myself, fam. Okay, but got a few that I got back in my younger days. But I'm just telling you, like, it tells me that they are a spiritual act. That's all I'm gonna say on that. And so, if the tattoos that you have are things that you don't want to be aligned to, spiritually, then that's, for you to pray and talk to God about it. And maybe, like in my case, it was a decision of ignorance, you know what I mean? And so it is what it is. And so the third thing he talks about, and my new name. And so name changes symbolize the entrance of, or the fulfillment of, a new covenant, right? So the spiritually serious person is going to be very special to God, and they will be awarded with his new name publicly. And so you can think about it like when a man is serious about a woman, right? She has the ability to what? Take his last name and be publicly recognized for it. Same situation. All right, so to wrap up, we covered today Revelation 3:7-13, Isaiah 22:22, Isaiah 9:7, and Matthew 28:18. So take some time today and think about, what did you observe or learn today that you didn't know from what we read? And then just don't observe it, but ask yourself how you can apply it to your life right now. Write a prayer to God using these scriptures, and any of the affirmations that were said, affirm them over yourself. And I will see you in the next lesson. Bye.